Good afternoon, everybody. This is Donnie Ludik from the AllgritClub, and I'm here with Charlotte Raubenheimer from Port Elizabeth here on this sunny day.
Hello, hi Donnie. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Charlotte, for taking part on this Runcast. So, as the name suggests, I'm going to start the timer, and then I'm going to do a little bit of in-place running. You're welcome to join me if you feel the urge grips you, but whatever's comfortable. So, Charlotte, thank you for taking the time here, and I see it is a beautiful day there in Port Elizabeth. I'm here in Somerset West.
Absolutely.
I've got my kids here in the garden, and as part of the lockdown life, so if there's some noise and kid bumping the stuff, please excuse that, but that's part of everybody's life at the moment, so we need to accommodate that. Okay, so Charlotte, I want to start off by asking you, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where do you live, and how did you get into the fitness and well-being arena or the scene, specifically triathlons?
For sure. I am 42 years old and currently living in Port Elizabeth, the friendly city, but also the windy city. And I fell in love with this triathlon sport. And was inspired through my husband. He's a phenomenal athlete, and he started doing the Ironman more or less 12 years ago. And I came with, at that stage, we lived in Cape Town, so we came together on a holiday, but him doing the Ironman, I was a spectator. And ever since, he's done multiple Ironmans, and every year I come with support, and in that, during those years, I've also had 2 boys, which didn't allow me to pursue my dream of also trying to become one of the Ironman athletes. But in the course of those years, I've also stayed fit. I've always enjoyed being active, being outdoors. Cycling is my utmost favorite sport. But then we moved to Port Elizabeth, and we're fortunate enough to have the sea available. Lots of sports fanatic, fit people. I've got so many friends that does all sorts of endurance sports. So we are surrounded by people that is active, enjoy love the outdoors, and then a husband that raised the standard with extreme endurance sports. At some point, he did introduce me to mountain biking, which is completely something new and very scary for me. But as soon as I started that, I was also pushing my own limits, realized that it's something that pushes me out of my comfort zone. And I started enjoying being a little bit pushed outside of that zone, and realized that we are able to do much more than we believe or might believe. And then I started training at the age of 40. My friend forced me to start joining a swim squad. I grew up in the Transvaal, so we didn't have swimming as a sport at school. So I had to start from scratch and had to improve my stroke. Then we're also fortunate enough to have the coach taking us out in the sea. So it's one of the perks living in the host city of an Ironman challenge. And I think, my friends are all runners, and I never joined them because I'm one of those slow but sure pace type of runners, and they've just also encouraged me and pushed me beyond limits that I was used to. Started joining them, and they all do extreme running races, the Comrades 2 Oceans. They all participate in cross country, the 100-miler. I had a friend that done the 100-miler. They've done the Dryland series. So I've been inspired by people that's fit and just have the appreciation of the ability to do all these types of sports.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think that's what is that song? They say, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." Now we're there, sort of in a way, very much influenced by the people you surround yourself with. And well, it sounds like you're quite lucky.
Agree more.
But what the other thing is,
I'm very fortunate.
The other thing is that you also said is you and your husband have this awesome active lifestyle, and I think that is such an inspiration for kids. As they grow up and they see, well, my parents are actually doing these things. And so are your boys also sports stars?
I think growing up in this house, they don't have an option, but we also try not to pressure them, but to almost encourage them and then slowly but surely develop a love for something and to make it more enjoyable other than to pressure them to do something. So they are exposed, and my husband try his best to expose them to as many sports as what they would be interested in. And then yes, they, like I say, in Port Elizabeth, there's a swim culture and there's also a life savings club that they both belong to. So the advantage of living here and being exposed to the elements like the sea itself, I feel we're grateful and fortunate for that. But we try to also teach them that it's to have a balanced life and to do sport for the enjoyment and the love of that, and not just for performance.
Yeah, that's good. The life saving is quite nice. We're also, my daughter is part of the Strand Life Saving Club, and my son. So we're forced to go on Sunday mornings to the Strand for life saving.
Sure.
And she's still tiny.
Yeah,
I mean, she's 6. It's her birthday actually today. She's 6 years old.
And congratulations.
Thanks. And they love that. And we as adults also love that, going there and actually taking part with them, because in our life saving club, that's part of the fun is the parents also interact with the kids and yeah, so
absolutely, it's exactly the same with us. So we feel like it's a opportunity for the family to get together to support each other. And I've been encouraged by so many of those little children being brave and tackling the sea and facing the elements. So a lot of those children has actually set a very good example to myself.
Yeah, that's the thing in this lockdown now. I have a few friends. We also join on Zoom in the mornings and then we talk to each other. It's more about the discussions. And one of the discussions that featured is, what will you do after lockdown? And so I'm going to ask you that question. What's the first thing that you guys are going to do?
I think we all have a little bit of cabin fever, and my son's answer would immediately be to take his bike around the corner and go cycle. For me, I would love to see my friends. I think I get my energy from friends, but definitely do something active. Either go running. We're also fortunate to have the beach road just starting here. But if I can think, the thing that I've got 2 boys, and I think we all go cycling next to the beach.
Nice, yeah. And my friend circle group also, it's the beach is probably high on the list. Just seeing the ocean again and touching that water and that smell.
Absolutely.
And it shows you how many things we've got to be grateful for here in South Africa. We are so blessed with the environment we live in.
Absolutely. And also took it for granted. So it's also a lesson of not taking relationships and being outdoors for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so tell us a little bit about, you transitioned now from doing a couple, how many Ironmans have you done?
I haven't done, this was my first.
Oh, this was your first Ironman. Okay.
So I've done a half Ironman. So I've done the 70.3, a couple of Xterra challenges. I've done the 5150. So I've done a couple of triathlons, but this was my preparation for the full Ironman, first one.
Well, that's awesome. So you were prepared. It's a lot of training. It's a hectic thing to do, and it's a lot of sacrifice. And then what sparked this idea of, wow, I'm going to do it at my house in lockdown? Why did you decide to do that?
I guess because I've trained, I was fully prepared for the Ironman. I've put in a lot of soul and heart into my preparation, and I didn't want to put up a mediocre performance. So I've reached that peak, and then because we were forced to be locked in and locked down and the Ironman was proposed, I did feel a bit of frustration, but it was for the better good. So I did accept the fact. But then I've tried to look at videos and see how people, and mostly the training groups that I've on, continue training and try to stay fit and do the do it yourself type of stationary things. So luckily we also do have a garden. So my son and I decided to start the Mzansi challenge. So then I've realized, well, it's possible to run 2 kilometers per day. So at least I can run. And then my swimming group has posted all these pictures of them doing a stationary swim in their pools. And then I thought, well, at least then I can continue swimming. And we do have an indoor trainer for the bicycle. So I decided, well, it was never the plan to do it from home. It started off of making plans how to stay fit. And then at some point when I realized, well, I can do all three in one, I decided to do it on the day that the Ironman was originally taking place in PE. So yeah, it wasn't the plan, but the plan became a reality the morning of that specific day.
Well, it's amazing. I think it was such an amazing thing to do. And you look, I watched some of the pictures, or I looked at some of the pictures, and it looked like you enjoyed it. It was
well, you know what? I will never regret doing it. And like I say, I think it was almost so unedited. It was so enjoyable because it was unedited, not planned, and it was just in the spur of the moment. And having my boys surrounding me with drinks and support and words of encouragement. At some point, I didn't notify all my friends, and at some point, I did start telling them, and that spread like a wildfire. So the advantage of being indoors on the bike was I was able to talk to them via WhatsApp, and some of them phoned me. Some of them committed to run parts of the marathon with me. So afterwards, I could see all these videos of my friends getting dressed and geared up, and they showed me all their runs that they've done with me at the same point as I was running. So it was a family affair, and the friends got involved. And I think, yeah, I had a bigger course as well. I had another goal that just kept me going. And like I said, I'll never regret doing it and pursuing.
So tell us a bit about the fundraising goal that you had linked to your efforts. What is the cause about? How did you come to this cause, and how did it go? How did your fundraising efforts go?
Well, I started off at entering the Ironman because it was a personal lifelong dream. And then at the same point, I always feel, I've been through a journey of making a difference in people's lives. So I've always questioned, what can I do as an individual? And as a stay-at-home mom, I've got a small business. I've always wondered what extra opportunities there are to get involved in something bigger than myself. And then I've had someone inspiring me by saying, work with the one in front of you. And I was out on a training run, and my friend Philip, he's a 52-year-old man that has cerebral palsy, and he is in a home around the corner from us. So he passes our house, and we became friends because he always stops and chats. He's in a wheelchair, specialized wheelchair that he operates with his chin. And we've always stopped to chat. And on my run, I've spoken to him, and he told me that his wheelchair has been giving him problems. And I felt, in a way, I felt guilty, but I immediately felt the need to help him, because I realized that his wheelchair is his only key to the outdoors, and his freedom is being able to go to the beach every day. And I came home and told my husband that I wonder if it's not possible to combine my Ironman training and use it as a platform to raise money, and then try to buy Philip a new wheelchair. So it started off with a need to help, to make a difference, but then also realizing we can make the difference if we look and work with the people in front of us. Yeah. So at that point, I went to Cheshire Homes, which is the home where he is taken care of, and they immediately tapped in. Then I started using my connections, and I had a friend that advised me to use a platform called Backer Buddy, and they immediately took the story, and I was able to use that as a platform to raise money for him. And even before the Ironman was held, so the Ironman was scheduled for the 29th of March, we've already reached the target. So my target was 70,000 Rand. And the people was just so generous through the whole journey of training. I've only used Facebook as trying to ask people to support my campaign. And before the Ironman was even completed, I've reached the target. And I think that was part of me being motivated. In some way, I felt I wanted to give back to the people that supported this fundraising campaign.
Ah, awesome. That is I think that lesson, what you said is, if you want, sometimes if you want to help somebody, that person might just be literally around the corner or right in front of you. And it shows you how great the South African community is actually to support each other and help each other. It's the only way we're going to get through this time now, and also what's next. So that is amazing.
Absolutely.
That is amazing
Definitely.
that
Yeah.
you raised the money. So Philip is now going to get something new, and so that he can continue his adventures outside and enjoy that as well. So that's great.
Definitely. I think what was part of the highlight is, so we've arranged to have the handover on the 7th of May. Hopefully we'll be able to continue with that plan. The wheelchair has been ordered, and at some point during the lockdown, he's the manager of Cheshire Homes sent me a picture of him, and she showed me that his wheelchair's arm was also then broken. So for me, it feels like the timing was absolutely perfect. So
perfect.
we are all very excited and can't wait to do the handover.
I'm great, and I'll keep an eye on your Facebook page. You should upload some few photos, and then we'll post it on our AllgritClub.
Yeah.
Okay, so we almost have to go, but before we go, I'd love to see some of the course highlights. Are you able to take us and show us some of the points where you were practicing?
No, definitely. I wonder, will it work like this? So this is where I started. You can see the pool in the background.
Yeah, it's a nice
pool.
This
is where
wow.
I came out of the pool, and then I went indoors where you can see that's where the stationary bike was uploaded, and then did my transition indoors and came out. And then I'll just walk you through the course. I don't know if this is making sense.
Yeah, it's fine.
So maybe I can switch the camera. So over here, I'm going to just see if I can.
You can also just turn it around.
Turn it around. So that's the back of the garage door.
Okay,
and then I've got 2 cottages, and I had to then run around these 2. So I'll quickly just walk you through this. Does this work for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
There we go. So this is the loops that I had to do was 360 meters.
Okay.
So if I walk around this paved way, and then I come back around here, a lot of corners and hills, and then over here I'm back at the pool, and then
nice.
I had to do, so that was 1 circle, and then I had to complete all of that
so
for 42 kilometers.
That's a nice loop to have, a 360 meters loop. That's in the swimming pool. What did you do in the swimming pool? Did you use bungee cords, or what did you do to keep yourself stationary?
Yes, it was. My husband was quite annoyed with me on the Saturday, because my plan was also just to see if I can also continue with my swim training. And I had a look at all my friends on the swim group's ideas. And then I knew we had a boogie board. We had an old boogie board in the garage. So I used the boogie board's leash, and then the inner tube of one of our old bicycles, and a rope. And we had to then tie it around this fence over here. Let me just show you. So we tied it around this fence, and then I attached it to my ankle, and then I was stationed in the water. So it's yeah, that's what I did for the swim.
Nice. And did you use a wetsuit? Did you those special triathlon wetsuits?
Definitely. Yeah. So on the Saturday, I thought I wanted to see if it works, and when I saw it works, it was quite cold. And some of my friends also did use their wetsuit. So I knew if I put on my wetsuit, the water wouldn't be too cold, and then I could continue with the swim.
And it's a one go. You went. Yeah. When you started,
Well, we also because we used to the training course, we're able to swim in the sea. I more or less had a goal of how long I wanted to continue, so I couldn't measure it very accurately. Okay. And me and my husband both had a look at the wind conditions, and he predicted that if it was on the day, I would have probably swam an hour and a half. Okay. So we just said, I'm just going to go for an hour and a half. So it wasn't measured accurately. It was just putting your head down and doing it for that period of time.
That's awesome. I just to give the people some context. I love running, so I can run pretty far. But I jump in my pool, which is over there. It's not as nice as your pool, but it is something. Yeah. All right. And then I tie myself with bungee cords to the weir. And then I swim, but I can keep it up for 10 minutes, one go. So an hour and a half, that is amazing. You really are an Iron woman. Well done.
Thank you, Donnie. Thank you very much.
Charlotte, thank you so much for spending time with us and for taking me through the course and also telling us about this awesome fundraiser activity. I'm going to post all the information I can find on our Facebook page. I already shared a link about the News 24 article that was covered by you. So, and if you do more things, if there's more adventures coming, I'll keep an eye on. Please let me know so I can share it on AllgritClub as well, AllgritClub. Okay.
Thank you, Donnie. Thanks for having me. It was nice meeting you and all the best.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.